we continue, we have variance, have industrial average, we have small company, then we have VEL. We are on the sixth one. 6 is admin as percentage of sales is 4% here, also 4 here, 3.9 here, and that makes this one to be 0.1 adverse. Seventh one is material as material cost as percentage of sales. You have 34% here, you have 32%, you have 33.7% here, and we can observe that that of the VEL is above the industrial average by 0.3, and that gives us 0.3% adverse. Percentage. And the next one for labor as a percentage of sales, that is labor cost. You have 26% here, 17%, 24%, and that shows that you're also having 2% adverse, since VEL is having a figure above the industrial average. And 9, you have production overhead as a percentage of sales. Here will be 18%, here will be 28%, here is 21%, and giving us a difference of 3.3. But this time around, VEL was able to achieve a lower cost, so making it to be favorable, 8.3% favorable. Yeah, for the 10th one, we have operating assets as percentage of 1,000 sales. You have 830 here, you have 750 here, you have 747 here, and the difference is 83. That is 830 minus 7, that 747 gives us that 83 difference. and which is also adverse. You have the next one, 11, which is a current asset. Per 1,000 sales. So also per 1,000 sales too. You have 460. You have 350. You have 320. And you are going to have 140. That is 460 minus 320. That's also an 140 adverse there. Going to also have variance here. Industrial average, small company. Then we have VEL. So we're on the 12th. We're on the 12th one, which is a fixed assets. 1,000 of sales. And there we have 380. We have 400 here. Here we have 413. And the difference between 380 and 413 will give us a 33. That's that 3 favorable. And for 13, you're going to have raw materials, which is 130, and here is at 45, here at 67. So you have a difference of 63 adverse. 14, we have work in progress. Which is 125 here. 80, 70, and the difference between 125 and 70, you are going to have 55. And that 55 will be adverse. 15, we have finished goods, which is 380 here. 400, 413, and 33 favorable, in the sense that that of a value is lower than the industrial average. And 16, we have debtors, which is 655. Yeah, 145. Sorry, this is 155, 145, and 100. The difference is 55, and that 55 is adverse, in the sense that the debtors of VEL is above the industrial average. Then here we have for land and building, you have 200, you have 100, here we have 210, and the difference is 10, and that 10 is favorable, because that of VEL is a bit lower than that of the industrial average. 18, we have plant and machinery, we have 172, 280, 100, sorry, not 100, this is 180, 180, and the difference there is 8. VEL was able to achieve something lower than industrial average, so that makes the 8 also favorable. And lastly, we have vehicles or motor vehicles, which is 8 here. The small company zone is 20, the industrial average is 23, and VEL is able to achieve something so low than the industrial average to the tune of 15, and that makes it favorable. We are going to observe that what the ratios we have computed are across the industries, and that is what the question is requesting from us. So it depends on what the question is asking us to do. It is not the same in all instances. We may have what we call appendices, but not all the appendices will be made use of. If you observe from this case study now, in that our in the appendices given in the question, that's the tables in the question, we have made use of table 1, because this is table 1 that is relevant for what we are asked to do. Even though we have table 2, which gives us which has the income statement, and table 3, which has the balance sheet. These two other tables may have been relevant for us if we have been asked to make our computations within the organization, just compare the performance of the organizations across the 3 years in question. But in this instance, we have been asked to compare the company's performance with other similar companies in the same industry, and that's the reason why we have not made use of the table 2 and table 3. Having said that, if you go back to the question for the purpose of our report now, you observe that our report should center on these areas. 1, the basic steps basic steps to corporate planning. So that's going to form a section in our report. Then key operational and financial business indicators. That's the second section or part in our report compared to other companies, which is what we have done in our appendix. We just make an inference on that. Then that's the third point. We are going to have the third section in our report. Then we also have guidance to financial management and policies of the company, making the fourth part or section of the report. Then the final part of the report, not actually final, another part of the report will be highlighting ethical issues, making it the fifth. And the second part of the question, that is question 2, can now be the sixth part of the report. So in total, our report is going to have basically 6 bodies, 6 sections, 6 areas is going to talk about before we now go to our conclusions and recommendations to wrap up the report. So going back to the report, so remember we had the introductory part already given, and we said we could postpone this introductory writing of this introductory part till after our appendix has been done, or we could set up the introductory part and go to our appendix and come back to the report and start to fix in the bodies. So if we take these introductory parts to be valid, we will now go to the various sections the reports will contain. Start with the very first section for the body of the report, which we said will be basic steps in corporate planning. Underneath, we have to have first define what we mean by corporate planning. Corporate planning is the fundamental long range planning process used to define and achieve organizational goals, organizational goals. The basic steps involved we include the following. The first one is what we call goal setting. Goal setting. This is the first stage in corporate planning that includes previewing and understanding the organization's purpose. By defining its mission, vision, and establishing strategies. Next step is identification of current objectives and strategy. The third is environmental analysis. This involves seeking information about the business environment, that is internal and external factors that has bearing on the corporate plan. And this may include example of such factors may be economic, political, legal, socio-cultural, and technological. The next step is what we call resource analysis. Resource analysis. It involves analysis of the organization organization's competitive advantages, and disadvantages, as well as the available strength to achieve the stated objective. The next step is identification of strategic opportunities and threats The next step is what we call gap analysis. And this means a performance gap is the difference between the objectives established in the goal formulation process and the results likely to be achieved if the existing strategy is continued. The next step is strategic decision making. After that, the next step is strategic or strategy implementation. which simply is the incorporation of the chosen strategy into the daily operations of the organization. The last step will be, and that is the last step under the basic steps for corporate planning, is measurement and control of progress. This is carried out to determine the otherwise of actual performance with the set objective to enable optional corrective measures to be taken appropriately.